Hello everybody, I'm Brandon Lewis here for 1495 Sports. Today we have something special, something we haven't done before. April 13th, ECWA will be holding their 17th annual Super 8 tournament, a single elimination 8-man tournament, and it is the biggest event in the Indies. Joining me at this time in the 17th year of his career, and I don't believe that's coincidental, is Damian Dragon. Someone I've known for a little bit. Also joining me at this time is his training partner, Anthony Lombardi. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here with me. And we are here at the traditional Karate America Dojo, the Larrea Training Center. And you've had some time here as well.
Yeah, this is my it's my old stomping grounds. I started training in karate when I was about 11 years old, and I became Sensi Larrea's student at the age of 12, 13 years old when I moved and I transferred schools. And it was actually my first job that I ever had. I started out, you know, washing the floors, washing the toilets, wiping the mirrors, all that stuff, and then it would turn into warming up classes and everything like that. And warming up classes turned into teaching classes, and then, you know, as time went on, I got older and became assistant instructor at school and helping sign up students and everything like that. So it was my first job. It was probably still one of the best jobs I ever had because I love to teach and everything like that. And it was a great time, but also, you know, it's my tournament roots and everything. Did national competitions. We traveled all over the U.S., and it was a great time. So it's actually nice prior to this tournament to be coming back to my roots in a sense, you know, to kind of put it all in perspective and get my mind right for where we're going.
Very cool, very cool. So since we're here, I need to know, what was your earlier influence? Was it professional wrestling or was it the martial arts? Or was it both around the same time?
It was honestly both around the same time. My father and I used to watch the old Shaw Brothers martial arts movies, and they're like Five Deadly Venoms, Five Fingers of Death, and all that stuff. And I love that. But also around the same age, I found professional wrestling, and I love both. And ironically, in the first time I watched wrestling was Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, which was obviously a melding of martial arts and professional wrestling. And then I saw the Dynamite Kid, and he was amazing. So it's like it was all just kind of at the exact same time. And then, you know, I wanted to do karate, and I used to pretend and play karate, and I wanted to do wrestling. I used to play wrestling outside, which my dad didn't like it, and everything like that. And karate obviously came first and everything like that. And then years later, by the time I turned 19, wrestling popped back around, and everything came full circle.
If I can ask a question about that, you know, you wrestling outside and your father didn't like it. You did grow up in a single-parent household. Mm-hmm. How big of an influence was your father in the professional wrestling decision? Or how did he feel about it originally when you joined?
We had an argument. We had a legitimate argument. It was I was 19 years old. I wanted to do it, and my dad did not like it. He was not really happy about it. He was like, you know, you're not going to do that. You're going to beat the hell out of your body. Da, 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 da. And it was around Christmas time. So he says, all right. I'll tell you what, let's do this. I says, don't get me any Christmas presents. Tell everybody not to get me any Christmas presents. I'm going to parlay the money I'm making at my job and any Christmas money I get, and I'm going to pay for wrestling school on my own. And that was pretty much how it worked out. And then I had my first match and everything like that. It was a little rough. My dad didn't really like it, but over the course of times, you know, he's gotten used to it and everything like that. It's like, you know, it's you know, you don't want to see your, you know, it's your son, you know, and he's willingly putting himself out there and doing something that's very, very risky. You know, it's football without the pads, and football with pads alone is very dangerous. So imagine football without the pads. And, you know, not only that, we're leaping off of things and everything like that, and we're getting thrown in odd ways and odd manners. You run a risk every time, you know. So, of course, you know, as a father is concerned, being a father now myself, I can appreciate that. So, you know, but now, like I said, you know, he knows I more so know what I'm doing. But he's always like, be careful, don't go out there and do anything stupid, don't do any of that crazy stuff and everything like that. And I says, not Dad, you know, I'm good. I'm sure he wouldn't like everything that I've done. I wouldn't like that, but for the most part, he knows that I'm very well protected and very well trained now. So, I hope.
Very cool, very cool. So you say you started at 19. That was the age you started wrestling. Going from, at least I found, going from martial arts or some other training, going into professional wrestling, I find it's often more difficult than going in with a clean slate. Mm-hmm. Did you have any issues when you started out? How was your training like?
I started at the unpredictable Johnny Rods, WB Hall of Famer. Very old school, very, very old school in terms of the wrestling training and breaking you down and everything like that. And you got to figure out I was a small guy, not that I'm a big guy now, but I was even a lot skinnier then. the one aspect that did help me was coming from this background. I already had respect and discipline, and then a very straight-laced father. It was very, very respect and discipline the whole way. It was, always listen and you don't know everything and like that. The other aspect, though, which was the hard part, is, karate is it's very form and setting. It's very stiff and it's very rigid. Professional wrestling is actually the opposite way. Our teaching method, anyway, is to be loose and go with the direction the person's pushing you and throwing you and trying to bend you, because then you'll find the counter, like that, or you'll fall better and protect yourself more. So that was difficult for me in the beginning, and then also slowing up my pacing and my timing. In karate, it was very fast. It was boom, 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 boom. Wrestling is timing, so I had to slow that down as well, and then plus also just initial, excitement, nerves of it all and everything, but like, there was certain aspects I had to retrain, but the basic fundamentals, which was very important, that Johnny Rods liked about me, was I was automatically respectful, I was automatically disciplined and everything like that. And a lot of that I think is getting lost in the business nowadays and everything like that. I'm sure Anthony would agree with me on that. A lot of respect and all that stuff would change, change things, but it's got to come back, and that's what at least I had going into it, and that helped a lot, I think.
If I may, Anthony, how long have you known Damian?
Oh my goodness.
Come on, grab the mic.
Oh, sorry. It's been about a couple years now since I've known Damian.
Yeah, we're all timers.
You can tell by the gray hairs we've known each other a little while.
Got a couple myself.
At least he kept his hair.
Yeah.
I saw the picture earlier. So you've known him for a while. Did you get to see skinny Damian?
Yeah, I definitely got to see skinny. I got to see Damian with hair.
Oh man.
Yeah.
We actually did see a picture on Facebook. If there's any way we could get that on here, just to show.
Y'all gotta start somewhere. Come on.
But image is very important in professional wrestling. Going from the unpredictable Johnny Rods, Hall of Famer, how did you, I guess, go from your training to, all right, now I'm stepping out on my own? What was tell us about the direction you tried to take, I guess.
Pretty much from out of the school onto the road. Back then, it was a lot of before sending a flash drive or a YouTube thing or anything like that. I date back to when having your intro music was set on a cassette tape, and you had to. That's really dating myself. I had to set it on a cassette tape. But it started out just kind of like any other way. You travel with the guys that are traveling. They say, hey, come down to the show and bring your VHS tape with your promo and your information and everything on it. And you go down and, sometimes you get lucky. You'll get put on via somebody's reference and everything. And it literally was a lot of footwork. It was no email. It was no, hey, check out my YouTube or anything like that. It was literally you had to, just like a regular job, you had to go out, beat your feet, and go find the work. You had to go, and then luckily, there were people in the business that would refer you, and if they had, hey, give this kid a try, and you got to try out and everything like that, and and the rest was kind of, and it was just a matter of building your name, and you never know who's sitting in the audience. It might be another promoter saying, hey, I like you, you're not bad, let me bring you down for my show, and so forth and so on, and then you just keep circulating, you keep doing. And I have a theory which I've helped teach some people and everything like that, and I have a theory, and it has proven true. And it's even the same thing here. When you achieve your black belt, it's actually not mastering what you're doing. It's actually a return to the beginning. And you're relearning everything all over again. Because now you're learning how to apply it. And sometimes you're even learning how to teach it. That's where you really learn it. The same thing happens in professional wrestling. Things don't click in to the open-minded and person that's really learning. They don't click in until your 5th year, I say. And you start realizing, you go, that's what he meant by that. That's what he meant by this. And, like, for instance, for myself personally, Johnny Rods would always tell us, you don't do a move to do it. You do it when it's the right time to do it. And for years, it just, what does that mean? Thank you, Confucius, because I am confused. But about my 5th year, I went, now I get it. I don't just, it's the storytelling, but it's also, you don't just do it to do it. You do it when it's the right time. You don't do 50 moves. Maybe you do 5, and those are the most meaningful 5 moves that you've ever done. People will laugh, people say things about Hogan and Nash and how limited they are, but you know what? They have that limited thing, but it's purposely placed to mean something. But it's the same thing. But, it's the same thing. 90% of this business is also cosmetic. Because as soon as you walk in and somebody sees you and you're trying to get work, the first thing they're seeing is you. Okay? I see, you know, are you in shape? Are you in shape? Are you in the shape for whatever your persona or gimmick is or anything like that? You know, then it's a matter of how do you come off? Are you respectful? And do you speak well or whatever the case may be? Do you conduct yourself properly? It's like, okay, we've gotten past this part. Now, you got the look, let's get you in the ring, let's see what you can do. And now, exactly, so before you even have stepped in the ring, it's pretty much they're already weighing you out. From the moment you walk in, you're already being checked out because it's 90% of your look. That's how a lot of these guys got, you know, their jobs in WWE. It's based off their look first. You know, some of those guys were not into professional wrestling. They were hired because of their look and they figured they could fill this role. Well, now you have the background, you've been trained, but you have to also, don't take that for granted. What's going to get you in the door is also everything else. You know, and then a lot of that, and again, a lot of that is the respect and the discipline as well that will carry you further.
Right. Now, I had mentioned in the beginning that the ECWA Super 8 tournament is 17 years. This is their 17th one, and this is also the 17th year of your career. That's not a coincidence. Can you tell us about your, I guess, history with the tournament and the company?
Well, a year after I had started training, I picked up an issue of Pro Wrestling Illustrated, and they had the coverage of the very first Super 8 tournament. And there's something about it that really just resonated with me. I don't know, it was because of the karate background with the tournaments and everything like that, but it was like seeing it was 8 guys literally putting it all out there, everything they had, and considered the best and the elite of their business. So I had always wanted that. And in the Kettner era, Kettner never wanted me, whether it be from my previous gimmick or whatever, I don't know. But I got the chance to start working with ECWA 2-3 years ago, and so now the dream became a little more feasible. It was like, okay, now I'm where I need to be, but now I need to be good enough to be there. And then 2 years ago, I was a mention behind the scenes, possibly in it, and it just didn't pan out. I was just starting out with the Fusion DS tag team and everything like that too. Then last year, and a lot of people don't know this story, is when Amazing Red dropped out for the tournament, fans, other than the fans, like stepping up and saying, hey, put Dragon in, Matt Saigon actually contacted Booker Joe Zanoli, unknowns to me until I found out this story. He contacted Booker Joe Zanoli and said, I will give up our match if you put Damian into that tournament. And he's like, but you guys are booked for that match. He goes, doesn't matter. He goes, Damian's been wanting this. Put him in that tournament. I mean, obviously they went another route and they put somebody else in, but the fact that he was willing to sacrifice us on the biggest show of the year, it was amazing. But it's like you said, it's almost serendipitous. There's obviously a reason why it's now and not then.
Right. So 17 years, you're finally achieving this dream. When I first contacted you to do the interview, it was because of this. I was very happy for you. As I've already said, I do have history with you. Yep. So I was very happy for you, and I really wanted to do this interview. About a week or two later, I realized that this is also your retirement year. You're calling it the Lucky Dragon 13.
Lucky 13 tour, yeah.
Yeah, the Lucky 13 tour. And then you announced your farewell to the wrestling world. But I believe you also said that you were holding off for 2 years. You originally had planned to drop out in 2011. Was that always the plan?
It wasn't always the plan. It's like, you know, you hit your high points, you hit your low points, and I mean, Anthony knows very well. I've had my share of low points, and it was like, man, is this ever really gonna happen, and everything like that. And it just started like not looking like it was gonna happen. And then it was this home and his family, and living out of a suitcase and being gone every weekend, and your kids saying, I'm always missing daddy, and sending your wife, you know, to social events, and she feels like an unwed mother or single, and she wants to be with her husband. One of the most powerful things that she said to me over the course of this past year was, I would be much prouder to have my husband next to me at an event as opposed to telling them that you're at Ring of Honor. Right. And it's like, wow, you know, and my wife is retired from the business. She knows what it's like. But to hear that is very powerful. And then again, you know, to be going out the door and, you know, your son sees you dressed, Daddy, are you coming shopping with us? Like, no, Daddy's going to be gone out. Daddy's heading out. I'll see you tomorrow morning and everything like that. So it's hard, but it's also serendipitous that this is the year that it's happening and everything like that. So it's bittersweet. It came down to the point was, as much as I love both, which one can I, in the end, bittersweetly live without? And obviously, I can't live without my family. I can't live without my boys and my wife. It's obviously going to be wrestling. But also, at least I'm getting to the point of what this was all about. And that's why I strung it out another 2 years. It's like I wasn't going to give up on this. Like I said, I didn't get my chance to wrestle in Japan like I always wanted to. I didn't get to get the Ring of Honor contract. I was like that close, I think. But this I was not ready to let go of. And it's like, okay, now we're here. And it's funny, it's not really, to me, I really haven't achieved the dream yet. I'm getting there. It won't be achieved until it's all said and done. Then it's achieved.
Can you explain to the people that are watching right now, because I believe I understand, but you had mentioned to Bill Apter that you don't care about TNA, you don't care about WWE. This tournament is your WrestleMania. Yeah. This is what it's all about. This is the biggest thing for you. Mm-hmm. Can you explain further on those words, what that means to you?
Well, again, this is, Mania is the biggest show in the industry. But we're talking professional wrestling here. These are guys that have really honed their craft and trained hard, the Elite Eight. And I would even say I'm not on the level that they are, but that's a good thing because that pushes me to work harder and train harder, which I've been doing, and Anthony knows. I've been training like really hard on this and dieting hard but you got to go out there and you got to give it your all more than you've ever done. You got to leave everything in that ring. But the thing about this tournament, it has launched so many careers. We're talking Low-Key, Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, the Hardys, Austin Aries. I mean, it goes on. Christopher Daniels. The list goes on and on and on and on and on of the guys that got recognition and went to higher levels. Some guys are in it for that, but that's not why I'm in it. It's also partially. I would think it would be an example to my own kids. Like yes, it's been a long trek, but look what Daddy did by not giving up. He finally got there. And then I got amazing emails from people that like how I inspired, like this story of me and how long it took to get there inspired them. It's like, wow. And in their own personal lives, they just, when they want to give up, they don't. And it's easy to be determined when I'm like that, but it's harder to stay determined when you want to give up. And that's real determination, is when you want to give up, but you don't. You just, something inside you, and you can't explain why, but for some reason you hang on and you just keep pushing forward and you do it anyway. And that's pretty much where I'm at now with it,
Well, you had mentioned your training, and this is why you're here. Can you tell us about the training? How has training maybe before being announced about the tournament? How has it changed now? What is working out with Damian Dragon like?
I really got to take like a deep breath for that because there's just so much that happens. I myself am a professional wrestler, and just over the past year I've been getting back into it, and that's when I spoke with Damian about getting some training done. I see how good of a shape he's in, and I said, I could really use the help. So he said, come on down, join the gym with him, and we started working out, and it went from a very mild start out to, I would go extreme intense pretty quickly, within just a few months. He gave me enough time to kind of get settled into working out again and, lifting weights and doing all the different types of exercises and stretches that are necessary. And then all of a sudden he's like, okay, here we go. And the next thing I know, I've been pushing harder than I've ever pushed my entire life. I'm now 35 years old, and I'm probably in better shape than I was when I was in my 20s. And that's all part of him. If it wasn't for him, I can't even say where I'd be right now as far as my training. But, he pushes hard. He goes in there, he's dedicated to what he's doing, and he doesn't stop for nothing. Talking about Ring of Honor earlier, talking about how close he was with the contract. I can't tell you how many times we were in that gym and he was screaming, just give me my contract. And he's pushing away and pumping as hard as he possibly can because that's the dedication he's got. He's pushing as much as he can because he wants it that badly. And that goes for the ECWA Super 8 as well. He's just really been kicking it, and in the last several weeks, he's been even more intense than he has been in the last 6 months. He's really pushing hard, and I'm rooting for him 100%.
Well, I have another question for you. You've described yourself as being a very open, emotional, wearing your heart on your sleeve person. Anthony, does this make him more dangerous or more vulnerable when he steps into the ring?
Honestly, I think it's a combination of both. It makes him very vulnerable because, he's 17 years now been trying to get to this position. He's been wanting it for that long. And at the same time, it makes him just as dangerous because he's in the gym working his ass off. And I just cursed, I apologize.
It's okay. Patootie.
Patootie. I really think it's a combination of both. It's a 50-50. dedicated to everything he's doing, and he's pushing as hard as he can, and that's going to make him dangerous at the Super 8. And at the same time, it puts a lot of emotion on him because it's been 17 years long in the running. So definitely goes both ways, 50-50.
You are going against some fierce competition. Just to toss out a couple names, Mike Mondo, who, if you're only familiar with the mainstream wrestling, you may have known him from the Spirit Squad, but he has worked his tail off over those years and is now tearing it up in ROH. Someone that regular followers of us may know, VSK, who's been tearing it up also on the East Coast, has a couple of titles on now in different promotions. And someone who's actually won last year. He won last year's tournament, and everyone's talking about him right now, and that's Papa Don. Is there anything that you're worried about? Is there anything that you're focused on as far as who you're competing against, and any preferences to who you'd like to face?
I mean, every single one of them. The funny thing is, out of everybody there's only two guys I'm not familiar with via a locker room or even being in, and that's Antonio Thomas and Vordell Walker. I am very serious when I go into wrestling new people or whatever. I do study. They're amazing. You know, Antonio Thomas is looking to break out of the mold of what people perceived him as in WWE, and he's amazing. He's absolutely amazing. He's been in Japan for a reason. You don't go to Japan just you go to Japan for a reason. You're good. And he's been to Ring of Honor, he's been to TNA, he's been around, and he's amazing. He's in best shape he's ever been in. Vordell Walker, that guy is a suplex machine. It is amazing. He can grab you and launch you any direction, but also he's agile, he's quick, he can move. Everybody else I'm familiar with, I've been in the ring with them one time or another. Mike Mondo, as you mentioned, I know Mondo when he started, and a year in, he got picked up by WWE in a year in. That is amazing. That is amazing. And he became the OVW head trainer. So that should tell you something. I mean, regardless of what they packaged him as when he appeared on TV, Mondo is intense. And Mondo is a very good friend. Mondo helped me over the course through my Ring of Honor times, and he was very, you know, we were on the Twitter and everything, and he's like, come on, brother, you can do it, and everything like that, and, you know, get in the gym and do it. And he was, you know, I had him in my ear, and he was amazing. VSK, I've watched grow in the industry, like, leaps and bounds in the last year or two. And it's been amazing. Like, everybody. Chris Wilde I've been in the ring with. He's all heart. It's very similar to me. And, you know, I know that's going to be a tough battle if it comes down to him. Rhett Titus is the most agile brick wall you will ever meet. I've trained with him at the Ring of Honor school. He's amazing. But push comes to shove, the guy that should be the focus for everybody is Papa Don. Papa Don is at the top of his game. Why he's not, like I said, why he's not someplace else and signed is beyond me, whatever the case may be, but he is at the top of his game. He's at everything. He's got the look, he's got the ability, he's got all the tools to do this again. And so he's been making history and looking to make history by winning it back-to-back, which has not been done. But again, I have something more personal driving me. And it's not to knock anybody else, what anybody else is doing. I just have something more personal driving. It's kind of like the Rocky, that stuff in the basement.
Yeah.
That stuff's been in the basement almost 20 years. It's a long time to have something in there. So push comes to shove, I honestly say for anybody, the man to beat is going to be Papa Don. And for me, him and I, that's my longest running feud. Him and I have faced off over the last decade from our tag team days into singles matches, and we push each other to levels that even we didn't know in our head. And Papa Don's faced amazing talents, better than me. But just something when we get in there, it gets very physical, it gets very intense, a lot of mean words get thrown back and forth in the middle of it, but at the end of the day, we're here to do business, because I think I'm one of the few guys with what he exudes in terms of his Greek god persona. He can't get to me. And I think that's the part that bugs him. It's like, you can't get to me. You can't get in my head, because once I'm in that ring, it's blinders and nothing else. It's just me and you. There's no microphone, there's no character, it's me and you. You have to beat me, I have to beat you. And I think we're at about an even scoring board, and I tell you what, if it comes down to him and I at some point in that tournament, I think we're going to blow anything that we've ever done away.
Okay. So something that we normally do for the people watching at home, we normally pass the mic off and basically let the person that we're talking to, the guest of honor, if you will, just say a few words for the fans, anyone watching, any last messages. You have had victories and losses, heartbreaks and triumphs, 17 career that you're about to wrap up. So I'm just going to pass this to you, especially after 2012, which was a great year, from the ROH tryouts to the Samoan Cup that you won last year, and it's been an amazing ride. So now, if you could just say a few words, your successes, your favorite moments, anything you want to say to the fans watching.
Absolutely. 2012 was amazing. Fusion DS did amazing things. We were ranked in the PWI top 10 5 weeks, and no other team had ever done that in ECWA history. But this is not about teams anymore. This is actually about me, and not in an egotistical way. This is about a constant pursuit, and it's an example to everybody. Like I said, don't stop. Whatever it is, don't stop. And this is not just my road. This is everybody's road. You've supported me. You've supported me, my wife and kids, with a painted smile, supported me, and people at the shows have supported me even when I want to give and pick me up. So this one's for all of us. This is an example for all of us. Lucky 13 Tour is, I said, the farewell tour. And if we're going out the way it started and the way we wanted to, and we're going out with a bang, and we're going out big.
Thank you very much, Anthony, Damian. Everybody watching, that is April 13th. There are still tickets available, so I would definitely hit up the ECWA website to go and grab some. That is April 13th. Damian Dragon, thank you once again. Looking to cement his legacy and capture a dream at the ECWA Super 8 tournament. Better be watching. Very special treat. I am actually here with Damian Dragon's father, Francisco Vargas. And can you tell us a little bit about what his chances are? You've seen him growing up. Is he ready for this? This is his dream match.
Well, I don't know. I really don't. I really don't know. I guess he is. It's I don't know what to say. It's hard for me. I'm not used to this kind of stuff.
Well, are you going to you're going to see the show yourself?
Oh, yeah, I'll be at the show. Yeah.
So I'm sure you'll be a little worried, seeing him in that position.
Always worried, anytime it's your son. Anytime they do something physical, you always worry.
Of course.
I hope they come out all right. I hope everything comes out all right.
All right. And just now, if you want to give him a memento of good luck, say some nice words to him before he goes into that tournament.
I wish him luck, and I'm hoping everybody, God willing, everybody comes out all right and does well.
Very cool. So good luck, Damian. You got people cheering you on. Family's going to be there. You do your thing. With Damian Dragon, Sensi Gustavo Larrea.
Oh, very good.
Hey, I rolled the R's there.
Very good.
All right, cool.
Very nice.
You've got the opportunity to see him grow, see him change from a boy to a man. Now he's gearing up for this tournament. Is there anything you can tell us about him, his mentality going in?
Well, he's always been very focused, especially on his wrestling. He's always tried his absolute best, and that's always what's helped him excel above all in the past. So I have no doubt this will do the same.
All right, and would you like to offer him some words of encouragement?
Hey, Damian, win.
Well, you heard it. Don't disappoint him. Win. No, but we're all rooting for you. Super 8 tournament, April 13th. Better be watching.